This person wants to take you to the room and make you feel. My beloved child, tonight the air around your story trembles with a quiet tension, as if every unseen moment has been guiding you toward a doorway you never expected to stand before, one that leads not into chaos, not into anything improper, but into a room filled with truth, warmth, and a feeling you have been longing for yet hesitating to accept. Listen closely, because the person who wants to take you there is not driven by impulse or desire for attention, but by a deep intention to make you feel understood, respected, and gently seen in ways the world never paused long enough to honor. Their heart has been carrying words unsaid, emotions held back, memories replayed in silence, and now every step they take toward you holds the weight of something life-changing, something that feels like a revelation waiting just beyond the frame of the moment. In that quiet room, there is no noise from the outside world, no judgments, no shadows from the past, only the echo of your heartbeat and the steady courage of someone who has waited for the right time to show you how much your presence has shaped their life. They want to make you feel safe, grounded, valued, as if every doubt you ever carried is slowly dissolving into light. They remember the times you smiled even when you were hurting, the strength you displayed when no one noticed, and the softness you protected behind your silence. And now, as the door closes gently behind you both, the atmosphere fills with anticipation, not of anything reckless, but of a confession that could alter the direction of your path in the most astonishing way. This moment is not random. It is the culmination of whispered thoughts, restrained emotions, and a promise your soul has been circling back to over and over again. The person before you wants to make you feel comfort where you once felt tension, belonging where you once felt distance, and clarity where confusion used to linger. Their voice trembles not because they are unsure, but because the truth they are carrying is powerful, powerful enough to shift the way you see your past, your worth, and your future. They have seen your kindness, your resilience, your unwavering heart, and now they wish to reveal how profoundly you have changed their world without even realizing it. As they speak, every word unfolds like a hidden letter finally opened, every sentence carrying an emotional gravity that pulls you closer to the realization that this encounter is not just an episode in time, it is a turning point. They want to make you feel cherished without pressure, uplifted without fear, held without possession. The room becomes a sanctuary of revelation, where vulnerability turns into strength and honesty becomes the bridge between two souls who have been orbiting each other in silence. Something extraordinary is rising in the stillness, an awakening of feelings that have been patiently waiting to be acknowledged, honored, and finally spoken into existence. And as this moment stretches into something unforgettable, you sense that what is happening here is bigger than anticipation, bigger than suspense. It is the unveiling of destiny's carefully guarded truth. The person before you does not want to overwhelm you, they want to make you feel empowered, confident, and emotionally alive in a way that feels rare and once in a lifetime. The room is no longer just a space. It is a threshold, a quiet realm where your heart is invited to listen, to receive, and to realize that something extraordinary has been forming behind the scenes of your life all along, and now, at last, it is stepping into the light before you. My beloved child, as the story deepens, the atmosphere around you grows even more intense, like the quiet before an extraordinary revelation that has waited far too long to be spoken. The person who guided you into that silent room is still standing close, not to overwhelm you, but to gently unfold the truth they have been guarding within their heart. Their eyes hold a softness that reveals years of unexpressed emotion, gratitude, admiration, and a timeless respect for your spirit. They have carried your name like a quiet promise inside their thoughts, replaying memories of every moment you unknowingly inspired them, every time your presence brought them peace, and every time your resilience reminded them what strength truly looks like. In this moment, they want to make you feel something you rarely allow yourself to experience: complete emotional acceptance without doubt, without fear, without hesitation. The room becomes a space where vulnerability is not weakness, but the purest form of courage slowly unfolding between two hearts that have been connected long before they ever understood why. There is a tremor in their voice as they begin to speak, not because they are uncertain, but because every word they are about to say carries depth, sincerity, and a feeling that can change the meaning of everything you once believed about love, connection, and destiny. They want to make you feel appreciated in a way the world never paused long enough to offer you. They want to make you feel seen beyond your smiles, your strength, your silence, and the unspoken battles you have carried with grace. They have watched you walk through disappointments without losing hope, through loneliness without losing compassion, and through heartbreak without losing your ability to care. And now, in this room filled with quiet anticipation, they wish to reveal how profoundly your existence has touched their soul. Their confession is not a rush of emotion, it is the result of patience, longing, and the realization that you are the moment they never want to overlook again. The air turns warmer as their truth begins to unfold, layer by layer, like a long-awaited letter finally opened under a soft light. They speak of nights when your memory stayed with them, of days when your absence felt louder than any noise around them, of moments when your kindness became their anchor in silence. They want to make you feel treasured, not for what you do, but for who you are at your core. In their presence, you are not expected to be strong, perfect, or composed. You are allowed to simply exist, to breathe, to feel every emotion that rises from within you. They wish to give you reassurance where doubt once lived, warmth where uncertainty once lingered, and emotional closeness where distance once stood. And as their words wrap around you like a gentle embrace, you begin to sense that this is not just a confession, it is the unveiling of a connection that has been quietly shaping your journey all along. Inside this moment, time feels suspended, as if the universe itself has paused to witness what is unfolding between you both. Their intention is pure, steady, and filled with reverence for your heart. They do not wish to lead you into confusion or expectation, they wish to guide you into understanding just how deeply you matter. They want to make you feel grounded, valued, and uplifted, as though every fragment of self-doubt within you is slowly dissolving into clarity. The room becomes more than four walls, it becomes a sanctuary of emotional truth, where every breath shared carries meaning, and every glance holds the promise of something extraordinary waiting just beneath the surface. Nothing here is rushed, nothing here is forced, everything is unfolding in the rhythm of sincerity, patience, and genuine connection. And as the silence settles after their words, you realize that the feeling rising within you is not fear, not uncertainty, but a gentle awakening, an awareness that this moment, this revelation, this presence beside you, is unlike anything you have experienced before. The person before you wants to make you feel emotionally secure, deeply valued, and profoundly important in a way that resonates through every part of your being. Something remarkable is building in the background of this moment, something that feels life-shifting, rare, and destined. The story is only beginning to reveal its deepest truth, and the next steps you take from here may shape the meaning of everything unfolding inside your heart. My beloved child, as the journey moves deeper into this powerful moment, the atmosphere in that quiet room grows richer with meaning, as though every breath, every heartbeat, every unspoken thought is guiding you toward a realization that has been waiting patiently beneath the surface of your life. The person standing before you is not simply here to speak, they are here to reveal the truth their soul has been carrying across time, silence, and unexpressed emotion. Their presence feels calm yet intense, steady yet filled with a quiet longing they can no longer hold back. They want to make you feel gently uplifted, emotionally free, and deeply honored for the authenticity of your heart. They have seen your struggles, your lonely nights, your hidden tears, and the strength you carried when everything inside you felt fragile, and now, in this moment, they want to let you know that none of it went unseen. They wish to guide you into a feeling of acceptance so rare, so profound, that it feels like destiny itself has stepped forward to speak through them. Their words begin to flow with a depth that reaches through the silence and touches the very core of your being, slowly unraveling years of emotions they kept hidden behind patience and restraint. They speak about the way your presence has become a beacon in their world, the way your kindness has softened their fears, and how your courage has inspired them in ways they never found the strength to admit out loud. They do not want to overwhelm you, they want to make you feel emotionally safe, supported, and wrapped in reassurance. They wish to let you know that your existence has been a quiet miracle in their life, a constant reminder of hope during the days when they felt lost. They confess that every time they walked away before, it was not because they did not care, but because the depth of their feelings frightened them, and now they are finally ready to step into the truth instead of running from it. The room feels like a sacred space now, not because of walls or surroundings, but because of the honesty being born within it. Every sentence they share carries warmth rather than intensity, closeness rather than pressure, clarity rather than confusion. They want to make you feel valued in a way that heals old wounds, dissolves self-doubt, and reminds you that your heart has always deserved tenderness, not exhaustion. They speak of moments when they replayed your conversations in their mind, moments when your silence echoed louder than words, moments when they wished they had the courage to return sooner. They admit that destiny kept pulling them back toward you, as if every path they took eventually circled back to the truth that their soul recognized in your presence. And now, finally, they are ready to honor that pull instead of questioning it. In this unfolding revelation, time feels slow, gentle, and deeply meaningful. You sense that what is being shared is not temporary emotion, not fleeting affection, but something rooted in sincerity and growth. They are not here to create chaos in your heart, they are here to offer stability, understanding, and emotional companionship. They want to make you feel cherished for your authenticity, respected for your resilience, and admired for the softness you protected even when the world was unkind. They acknowledge your journey, your scars, your quiet endurance, and they speak with a tone that carries gratitude for every step you survived, every storm you overcame, every moment you kept faith in yourself even when others doubted you. And as the silence gently settles after their words, you realize something extraordinary. This moment is not simply about emotions being revealed, but about two hearts recognizing the depth of their connection without fear, without hesitation, without disguise. The person before you does not want to change who you are, they want to honor who you have always been. They want to make you feel calm, secure, emotionally awakened, and worthy of every good thing that destiny has been preparing for you. The feeling in the room is no longer suspenseful, it is transformative, as though life itself has opened a new doorway, inviting you to step into a future where your heart is finally understood, valued, and truly seen. My beloved child, as this powerful unfolding reaches its next turning point, the atmosphere in that quiet room feels even more meaningful than before, as if every moment has been carefully placed to bring you here, to this depth of truth, this awakening of understanding, this revelation of what your presence truly means to the person standing before you. They look at you not with hesitation, but with a steady courage that has finally found its voice after carrying unspoken emotion for so long. Their heart is calm, their intentions are pure, and their message carries a profound sincerity that touches the very roots of your spirit. They want to make you feel gently honored, emotionally uplifted, and deeply respected for the strength, grace, and compassion you have shown through every season of your journey. In their eyes, you are not just someone who passed through their life, you are the moment that changed everything, the light that guided them when they felt lost, the quiet strength that reminded them of hope when the world felt heavy. Their words begin to flow again, not rushed, not dramatic, but deep, steady, and filled with a powerful softness that reaches straight into your soul. They speak of the times they wished they had the courage to tell you sooner how much your presence mattered, how your kindness healed parts of them they didn't know were hurting, how your calm voice became a refuge when their world felt uncertain. They confess that the reason they brought you into this room was not to create confusion or expectation, but to finally honor the truth their heart has been carrying in silence. They want to make you feel emotionally secure, valued without condition, appreciated without doubt. They speak with humility, with gratitude, with a quiet reverence for the person you are, and every sentence feels like a gentle reassurance that you were never overlooked, never forgotten, never insignificant. The room now feels like a sanctuary of clarity, a space where fear loses its power and honesty becomes the bridge between two souls finally ready to understand one another. They acknowledge your strength, your resilience, your patience through every unanswered question, every uncertain moment, every silent chapter you endured without knowing what lay ahead. They want to make you feel that your heart was never foolish for caring, never wrong for hoping, never weak for loving. Instead, they want you to see that your compassion has always been your gift, your courage has always been your strength, and your presence has always carried a depth that few people are capable of understanding. Their voice carries the weight of realization, the understanding that they are not here because of chance, but because every path in their life eventually led them back to you. In this moment of truth, you begin to feel a gentle shift within yourself, a quiet awakening, a soft release of the doubts you once carried, a newfound peace rising through your heart. They do not want to control your destiny, they do not want to change your essence, they simply wish to stand beside you with honesty, respect, and emotional depth. They want to make you feel safe enough to breathe freely, strong enough to trust your worth, and calm enough to recognize that this connection was never about pressure, but about understanding. The silence between you both no longer feels heavy, it feels warm, alive, meaningful. It feels like two journeys finally reaching the point where truth replaces uncertainty and clarity replaces hesitation. And as the moment settles into your soul, you realize that this experience is not only about what they feel for you, it is about what you are awakening within yourself. You sense that this encounter is guiding you toward a new chapter, one where your heart is no longer waiting in uncertainty, but standing in awareness of its own value. The person before you wants to make you feel emotionally honored, deeply respected, and profoundly important, not just in their world, but in your own understanding of who you are becoming. The room does not feel small anymore. It feels like a threshold, a symbolic doorway where truth meets destiny, where two hearts stand in acknowledgement of everything that has led them here, and everything that may unfold from this moment forward. My beloved child, as this profound journey reaches an even deeper layer of truth, the atmosphere around you transforms into something almost timeless, as though every memory, every silent prayer, every unspoken hope has gathered in this moment to reveal what your heart was always meant to understand. The person standing before you is no longer just a figure from your past or a presence from your present. They have become a part of your emotional awakening, a mirror reflecting the strength, tenderness, and light you have carried within yourself for so long. Their eyes hold a quiet devotion, a steady sincerity that speaks louder than any dramatic words ever could. They want to make you feel peacefully cherished, emotionally supported, and deeply valued, not through promises spoken in haste, but through truth that has matured over time. In this room, there is no rush, no pressure, no uncertainty, only a powerful stillness where destiny breathes gently, reminding you that everything happening now has meaning, purpose, and divine alignment. Their voice rises again, calm yet profoundly moving, carrying a depth that touches every corner of your soul. They speak of the moments when they felt lost and your presence became their anchor, when life felt heavy and your resilience gave them hope, when doubt clouded their path and your quiet strength reminded them what faith truly looks like. They admit that the room they brought you into was never meant to confine you. It was meant to free you from unanswered questions, from emotional weight, from the silent ache of not knowing how deeply you were valued. They want to make you feel gently reassured, seen beyond the surface, understood beyond words. Every sentence they share carries gratitude for your patience, admiration for your courage, and reverence for the compassion you showed even when you were hurting. In this moment, they are not asking you to change, they are honoring who you already are. The space around you feels sacred now, as if every breath you take is guided by clarity rather than doubt, awareness rather than confusion, strength rather than uncertainty. They acknowledge the storms you survived, the battles you fought in silence, the scars that shaped your wisdom. They want to make you feel worthy of rest, worthy of gentleness, worthy of a love that does not exhaust your spirit or leave you questioning your value. They confess that they once feared the depth of their own feelings, but now they understand that what they feel for you is not a fleeting emotion, it is a profound respect for your soul, a deep appreciation for your journey, and a recognition that your presence has been a blessing they can no longer overlook. Their words unfold slowly, not to overwhelm you, but to cradle your heart in truth that feels steady, grounded, and real. In this unfolding revelation, something within you begins to transform. You no longer stand in this moment as someone waiting for answers, you stand as someone who finally recognizes their own worth, their own light, their own power to choose what aligns with their peace. They want to make you feel calm in your spirit, confident in your identity, and strong enough to trust your intuition. The silence between you both does not feel empty, it feels full of understanding, as though your souls have spoken to one another in a language deeper than words. The room becomes symbolic of healing, of closure, of possibility, a place where you release old doubts, embrace emotional truth, and allow yourself to feel deserving of everything pure, kind, and meaningful that life has been preparing for you. And as this moment settles into your heart like a gentle sunrise, you realize that the real transformation was never about them simply revealing their feelings. It was about you awakening to your own emotional strength, your own clarity, your own beautiful capacity to receive love without fear. The person before you wants to make you feel uplifted, honored, and gently reassured that your journey was never in vain. Every step, every tear, every lesson brought you here, to a place where truth feels safe, connection feels genuine, and your heart finally stands in the light of its own worth. The room no longer feels like a destination, it feels like a doorway into the next chapter of your life, where you walk forward with grace, awareness, and the unshakable knowing that you are deeply valued, profoundly seen, and endlessly deserving of peace. My beloved child, as this extraordinary journey enters its next awakening, the room around you no longer feels like a place you were invited into, it now feels like a realm of realization, a bridge between who you once believed you were and who you are finally remembering yourself to be. The person standing before you watches you with a quiet awe, not because they see you as fragile, but because they now fully recognize the depth, the resilience, and the luminous strength within your spirit. They understand that this moment is not simply about their confession, it is about honoring the truth your heart has carried through every silent chapter of your life. They want to make you feel deeply respected, emotionally free, and gently empowered. They know that your journey has not been simple, that you have walked through seasons where your spirit had to stand tall even when your heart was weary. And now, in this moment of rare stillness, they wish to let you know that your courage, your patience, and your unwavering kindness have never gone unnoticed, not by them, and not by destiny itself. Their voice rises once more, tender yet steady, filled with a reverence that feels almost sacred in its sincerity. They speak of the invisible strength you carried when life felt uncertain, of the hope you held onto when others would have surrendered, of the compassion you showed even when your own heart was healing. They confess that bringing you into this room was not about pulling you into an emotional storm, it was about guiding you into a space where truth could finally breathe without fear. They want to make you feel gently anchored, surrounded by reassurance, and free from the weight of unresolved emotion. Every word they release into the air carries gratitude for your presence, admiration for your spirit, and a promise that their intentions were never driven by impulse, but by deep, thoughtful understanding. In their eyes, you are not a fleeting memory or a passing chapter. You are the constant thread that shaped their growth, their perspective, and their understanding of what genuine connection truly means. The energy within the room shifts once again, not into tension, but into profound clarity. It feels as though time itself has slowed down to allow your heart to fully receive the meaning of everything that has been spoken. They acknowledge that there were moments in the past when confusion stood between you both, when silence spoke louder than words, when unexpressed emotion created distance instead of closeness. But now, they want to make you feel released from those unanswered questions, liberated from what-ifs, and comforted by truth instead of uncertainty. They speak not with expectation, but with humility, understanding that your heart has its own rhythm, its own wisdom, its own divine timing. They do not wish to claim you or confine you, they wish to honor your choice, your peace, and your path, whatever direction it leads. And in that honesty, you sense something rare, a love that is rooted not in possession, but in respect. As their words settle gently into your soul, something inside you begins to expand, a stillness that feels healing, a knowing that feels powerful, a peace that feels earned. You realize that this moment is no longer about seeking validation or reassurance. It is about recognizing your own worth with unwavering certainty. You understand now that you were never unnoticed, never unappreciated, never forgotten. Your presence has always mattered, your light has always been seen, and your journey has always carried meaning far beyond what you once believed. The person before you wants to make you feel calm within yourself, steady in your heart, and confident in the truth that your story was never one of being overlooked, it was one of becoming. The silence between you both no longer feels like distance, it feels like understanding, like two souls acknowledging a truth that words alone could never fully express. And as this chapter gently closes into a feeling of wholeness, you realize that the greatest revelation was not found in what they felt for you, but in what you have awakened within your own spirit. You stand now not as someone waiting to be chosen, but as someone who finally recognizes their own divine worth, their own voice, their own radiant presence in this world. The room transforms from a place of suspense into a space of completion, a symbolic threshold where healing meets clarity, where connection meets wisdom, where your heart steps forward with grace rather than hesitation. The person before you wants to make you feel honored, deeply valued, and eternally deserving of peace, but now you understand something even greater. You no longer need to search for that assurance outside yourself. You carry it within you, boldly, quietly, beautifully, and as you move forward from this moment, you do so with a strength, serenity, and inner light that nothing and no one can ever dim again.